which I think Dark Passage weren't big fans of Beansu's play, as I make a mess on the desk.
Yeah, Beansu, I mean, that's what we said before. You know, they first picked Aurelion, we kind of mentioned you're not really going to make him lose his lane. I mean, it's just not going to happen with a Malphite. But now that leaves Jarvan open. The question comes, does Crystal play Jarvan in the jungle?
That's a good question. I mean, the fact that you've seen Vice, that's a second targeted ban.
And they did ban Xerath.
Well, there's only so many bans they can have, let's be honest here. They really don't want to play against Gnar. Obviously, they maybe know Beansu is a strong top Gnar player. We saw that banned away in Game 1. Game 2 now, and we've seen 2 targeted bans in that top and jungle. And exactly the same bans this time for SK Prime. They were quite happy removing those 3 champions from Dark Passage. And with a result like the Game 1, I think it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing they really need to change.
Right.
And they didn't really have to show anything too crazy in that first game. They just kind of outplayed on most of the fronts. I hope Elwyn doesn't play like as tanky of a top laner this time. I hope like a Maokai. Well, I mean, Maokai does still do some decent damage, and in lane he's not too bad. But I don't know. I just want to see him playing something maybe he's a little bit more comfortable on, because he really didn't do too much in that game. But it looks like they will go for Jarvan right away, so they're going to deny that.
I'm pretty sure that was banned, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was banned.
Was it banned by SK?
No, it was banned by DP last time.
Okay, so Dark Passage wanted to take it away in Game 1, and this time, because they figured they wanted to take it away this time, perhaps from, I believe it's Takey. I've seen top lane Jarvan happen, but I don't think Beansu will be preferring that over the jungle area. It looks like we're going to be taking Janna in their first pick, obviously putting that straight back in the hands this time of Zaitan. So they're picking that against DP, taking that away from Touch, as he did have it in Game 1. So pretty kind of steely first picks from both teams, and actually hovering over Rengar for the jungle. That's
good for Jarvan, because you can just pop him out of your Cataclysm. Even if you're not the one inside of it, you can still knock him out. And then allow whoever was in there to, you know, be very, very safe. The Rengar gonna get locked in. Wasn't actually expecting it to be locked in here, but it looks like it will. Actually, I don't know where it's gonna go yet. It can go top lane. It can go in the jungle.
I do like top lane Rengar.
I think it's gonna just determine or be dependent on what's gonna be played in the top lane by DP. So I'm expecting or hoping for like a Rumble with the Jarvan or an Orianna with the Jarvan. Something that Orianna, Rumble, and Jarvan would be pretty damn sexy, but then you're dependent on Holy Phoenix to have a very strong game, so he actually doesn't lose out in too much here. But a Kassadin being hovered over.
I could see that. I'm just thinking top lane, because I mean...
You don't usually pick Kassadin into blind unless you're going to put him middle.
That's what I'm thinking.
But he's been top lane non-stop lately, and that's a really risky play, not seeing what you're up against. I mean, I guess he's assuming it's a Rengar, but we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting, actually. I'm intrigued by the Kassadin pick, primarily because Naru, if he was to take that mid lane, he's got absolutely no idea. He's perhaps hoping for another Xerath, but I mean, maybe that's what he's kind of got in the back of his mind, like Senkux was strong on Xerath, maybe he's integral to their composition. Well, I mean, what's another pokey alternative? They could go Jace mid lane, but then Kassadin would get completely destroyed.
Well, the thing is, Ahri's open. And Ahri was banned out by DP last time against Senkux.
So. Positive, yeah, that's true.
And I do apologize for butchering his name. He did tweet me, though, saying we're doing better than 90% of the people out there anyways, so it's okay.
Senkux?
Yeah, so...
I'll take it.
Yeah, I'll take it. Oh, Kalista.
Oh, it's been locked in. This is going to be the second Kalista we've seen now. 2 days running for us in this Invitational. Going to be putting that in the hands of the very capable Crazy Caps. Obviously, his Graves was taken away from him in this one. So we've seen a lot of snatching, a lot of changing hands. This time the Janna changing hands as well as the Graves. And what? First I was surprised by the Rengar, now I'm surprised by the Aatrox. We've got Kalista in there as well.
Assuming that's Aatrox top.
This is something new from SK.
I'm pretty sure that's Aatrox top.
Yeah.
And that would be then Rengar in the jungle here. But they're leaving the mid lane for last. And honestly, they're going to have to show now for DP side what they want to play here. Ahri's open. Was banned out last time by DP. How confident does Naru feel on Ahri would be the real question for that. I don't think we're going to see Azir again. I mean, Azir... It did okay early on, like it was do well in
easy to farm, yeah.
But once Senkux started getting a couple kills, he just kind of got destroyed. I mean, he went a very defensive Azir build with the Athenes and Holy Grail, and the Zonias didn't really have a solid source of ability power.
He had his Stinger, had some attack speed. That was about it. Yeah, you're right. It was a pretty, I mean, not shoddy build, but Naru was forced down a path because of the power of Senkux, and so interested to see what that's going to be, what's going to be picked up in the mid lane in this one. And is it going to be...
That's better. That's better.
That's not what we were worried about. So we do see a Jax in the top lane. That does confirm that we're going to be having the casting in the mid lane. And that also confirms to SK what he's going to be picking up against for this mid lane. Obviously, very strong performance in the first game from the SK Prime mid laner, and we'll see what they're going to be
Orianna would be really sexy.
Orianna, Ari, those are the two names that have kind of gone to the back of my mind. Intriguing to see where else they could take this. I mean, they've already got Kalista and Aatrox, surprising me.
The thing is, you have like a knock-up out of Aatrox, and you have a knock-up out of Janna.
You're going to say Yasuo?
And you have a knock-up out of Kalista. Oh, no.
I thought you were going to say Yasuo.
No, not Yasuo. I'm thinking Orianna would be very perfect. Like, you have Aatrox jump in with the ball. Rengar come in with the ball, invisible, pull them all together, and then you have the knockups. But it looks like they might want to go for an Ezreal.
AP Ezreal?
Huh.
This is turning into quite an exciting game. SK Prime, surely not going to be taking it. It's gone down to 1 second. I'm keeping my eye on that clock. I don't want to talk about it until it's locked in. I think it is. What? AP Ezreal?
Well, not necessarily. That's the thing.
Okay, talk to me.
It could be AD.
Talk to me then. Well, okay, I mean, Ezreal mid lane, though. And that's a really...
We saw him, was it Faker?
He's done it before.
We've seen so many people run Ezreal mid lane. We'll see how it's going to work out here, though, for him. I am curious to see what build he's going to go for. I want to assume it's mostly AD.
Especially against Castan, you wouldn't. There's no reason to build AP up against a Castan. You may as well go the AD route.
Well, I mean, yeah.
He's got a magic shield. He's got extra MR. It makes more sense to go AD. And so Senkuk's taking Ezreal into that mid lane. It's going to be fun to watch. This is going to be one hell of a game, guys. If you look over the SK Prime lineup, intriguing for DP as well. Probably not something that they've particularly strategized or played against recently. And so going into this one, especially in that bot lane, I'm intrigued to see Crazy Caps over on Kalista. I think we saw good performance from Puddin. Didn't manage to kind of bring it through, but regardless, the #1 eSports AD Camera did do his best. I think it was a bit lackluster at the end, but Kalista early game has such a really strong pushing power.
No, well, Graves has really strong pushing power as well to match up to it. I feel like Kalista's more of like a duelist to try to go head-to-head against Graves. It's really tough to kind of shove the lane with her, but you can do ridiculous amount of damage to Graves if you can get those spears stacked
power.
up.
Yeah, that's probably the better way of describing it, yeah.
We're going to see. I don't know how Elwin's going to do. Again, I mean, I remember talking to like Wicked and a lot of these top laners back in the day for LCS, and I was asking the question of, how do you play when you get forced to play a champion you don't want to play?
Yeah.
And, back in the day, it was like Malphite and Rumble for Wicked. Like, just, they hated those two champions. And you obviously play different when you're on a champion you don't like or you don't enjoy playing. And now for Elwin, maybe Malphite was a champion he was forced into for his team. Jax, maybe a champion he's like, you know what, guys, we're right down a map.
Yeah.
Let me play something I'm more comfortable with, and let's see how we can do with it. So that might be, one of the possibilities for him here. I think it's going to come down to not necessarily him performing better, but Naru has to have a better game here. And not to mention Holy Phoenix, the star of the team, the MVP, got shut down last game.
He did, and I think we need to jump on into the Rift and have a little look where they kick off. We're going into game number 2 now of our best of 3, Dark Passage up against SK Prime. And you've already highlighted that we need to see some strong individual performances as well as, an overall overarching performance from DP. Yeah,
and we already see out of DP pushing in towards the river here. Don't worry, we'll get the game on your screen in just a second and see exactly what they plan to do with this. But there we go.
Piece of the champ. Imagine if I had a real weapon. Imagine if I had a real
Imagine if he had a real weapon. Him and his lamppost going to be doing some stuff in that top lane. And no surprises in the early buys. You can see, actually, Ezreal is probably going to be taking the AD route as he's picked up that longsword early. So that's answered our questions. You may see a bit of a hybrid build, but it looks like he's had a little exchange with Naru, and Naru, not willing to take any chances, is going to be recalling off the back of that. Wards in the river, as always. Pretty standard lanes. You see both bot lanes hanging around the bottom side of the map. And this, Aatrox, a top laner who I haven't seen since there was that auto attack issue, where he was kind of proccing every 3 instead of 5.
Minions have spawned.
2 every 3.
2 every 3.
Or 2 instead of 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
the last time I think I saw
don't know what you're talking about,
lane.
actually. No. That was intended.
Didn't happen.
That was not a bug and didn't cause a remake or anything.
But I think that's the last time I've seen him played.
Yeah, before that, it was in the jungle back at Season 3 Worlds. So it's been a while, but it can work. I think I'm 100% sure he thought it was against Kassadin top lane. because Aatrox, I mean, if you think about how they're going to duel, right? So Aatrox can shove the lane quicker than Jax. Beans is really trying to keep the wave shoved right here. As you see him taking quite a bit of damage here. He sees that actually Owen is taking Wolf Camp here. So he's going to teleport down or up towards that top lane. But he can shove the lane quicker. And when it comes to, you know, Jax jumping in with a stun, Aatrox can leap away. And Aatrox can stay sustained way better in lane than Jax can. So we'll see how one's going to work out. I mean, you can see right now Aatrox did take his E, so going for pushing power. But he's not even shoving the lane just yet. He's forcing Jax, Elwin, to miss out on a lot of CS.
Yeah, Elwin's going to just basically take that Wolf Camp, recall back to base, do a little bit of shopping for a pink ward, actually, picking up a pink and an extra health pot, and making his way up top. In the meantime, though, in that bot lane, we see this Graves-Kalista matchup in full swing. You can see this is exactly what we're talking about. This is Crazy Caps and the pushing power. They've gone for the Ignite, forcing the flash straight off the bat. Summoner for summoner exchange, and Holy Phoenix just going to have to sit back and look at his poor support's health bar.
Yeah, that could have almost been a kill, but that Summon Heal would have been a little bit too much since the Ignite was used pretty early in that fight. Could have flashed in, rended, and then one more auto attack might have been it. But either way, they already have some pressure. There is some control, as you see now. And DP, they have to really change things up here. And Crystal, you do not want to be the man that dies in the jungle.
Doesn't want to be that guy. Crystal, obviously, pretty sterling performance in the early game on Pantheon. Didn't manage to get as many ganks as he wanted to. We'll talk about that later as Crazy Caps is going low touch, meeting a similar fate as the flash is forced. He was caught in a bit of a sticky situation there. Didn't want to go face-to-face with Graves without his support. And obviously, hasn't got his ultimate yet. And so, no way out just yet. Couldn't have dragged his Janna with him. And actually, we were talking about Kalista. We were talking about our kind of misconceptions. I was going to say preconceptions, but I mean, we really were a bit confused by the mindset of Kalista and a tanky support. We always thought, you know, put a Braum there, give him something to throw, something big and tanky to throw into a team fight. But it's also a great disengage tool, and we highlighted that yesterday.
Yeah, and it can save your support who can just kind of bait themselves in and then pull them away and you'll be fine. And Janna, I mean, you already have great disengage out of her to begin with. It's going to be even better now when it comes into this lane. So that's going to be really cool to see when they hit level 6. But, you know, again, Crazy Caps already forced back to base here because that little bit of engage that we saw. Meantime, middle, Suncrux, 26-19 CS, doing some good damage to Naru here. And if he was running Ignite, that almost must certainly have been a kill here. And look at Naru, he's actually running Ignite himself.
Oh, swift flash away from Crystal as he makes an appearance in that mid lane. Suncrux.
Yeah, he uses Arcane Shift aggressively. That's why Jarvan was able to go in right there and force that flash. But, you know, his Arcane Shift is back up here. Jarvan coming on from the backside, and you really shouldn't be able to kill him.
He shouldn't, and he doesn't. Just a quick hit on that E King enables him to get back to base for the recall. He's leading in CS ever so slightly, 29-24, but as this recall comes in, I'm sure we're going to see Naru catching up with that one. Obviously, you've already highlighted Naru running Ignite. He wants to take Ezreal out of the game fast in comparison to Suncrux on his Summoner Heal. So, intriguing to see how that one's going to play out. The Rengar, a jungler we haven't seen too much of just yet, and can take a while to be relevant. Takey is looking to go in on this top lane.
Yeah, he's looking for that snare here, and well, he won't hit it just yet, but there it is. Elwin getting locked out before seeing the flash out of him, but they might have the damage to actually finish him off here. Taiki flashed in, Vinsu flashed in as well, and they will pick up their first blood. They will be back away, and they won't lose anyone. And SKP, again, off to a strong start. Remember in the first game, they got that double kill. Well, you know what? They already picked up their first.
Beautiful execution from Rengar, and this could actually get messy. They're both going incredibly low. Crystal is in a bit of trouble, but Naru's here to respond. Ignite coming in. He wants Rengar's blood, and now he wants Binsu. Binsu is surely going to be going down at the back of this one. He is forced to use that passive, and now he's just going to be backing away to see another day. Crystal didn't want to risk it with no mana or health to his name.
Really surprised they actually sat top lane that long when Suncrux knew that Cassidy wasn't mid lane. I mean, I'm assuming the call was there, yeah. I'm assuming this isn't solo queue.
We can only hope.
And yet they committed a lot of time. They do lose a man, so they trade 1-for-1 in the end of things. But still, Cassidy forced to use his flash, forced to use his Ignite as well. And that does give a little bit more of a lead here for Suncrux.
Yeah, it's a pretty strong lead start. Got his tier already, so he's going to be able to spam in his Q. Well, spam in all of his spells, as Ezreal does, as they progress through this one. Got his longsword as well, so he's going to be able to do that auto-attack damage.
Damn it, Crystal. Stop making me so scared. Every time I hear the ping, I'm like, wait, who's blinking?
Keep looking at
Why is he blinking?
Keep panicking as Crystal. I mean, he's taken a whole lot of damage. Obviously, previously doing Pantheon, he had that lovely passive with the block, and maybe he's just a bit confused about why Jarvan's taking so much damage.
I'm just thinking about one song, Push It to the Limit.
Push it to the limit.
That's all he's doing right now, because that's the second time he's gotten so low here, and he really wants to get a lot of his farm. He really wants to, you know, keep up and try to get ahead here of Taiki, who, is approaching level 6 pretty soon. You can see, approaching that halfway point and has a lot of minions to farm here in the jungle. And Elwin putting a couple of deep wards, and honestly knows Taiki will be 6 soon. And when that happens, it's going to be really hard to escape a gank, especially when he doesn't have flash anymore.
Yeah, they're basically going to be warding Rengar.
Actually, he doesn't even have a ward to escape anymore. Like, so you can use a ward to
yeah,
jump.
That's true. He has actually, he's committed that trinket to worrying about Rengar's entering stealth. And I think both sides of the map are going to be doing that. Just deep wards to try and catch Taiki as he enters his ultimate. And I think that's kind of the best way to deal with it at this stage. You can't really afford to put down too many pinks. You can see just 2 on the map for Dark Passage, both on the kind of either side, opposite sides of the mid lane. And as this bot lane continues, it's worth turning attention to the CS. As you can see, a bit of a discrepancy. Holy Phoenix 66 to just 43 of Crazy Caps. And perhaps falling a little bit further behind. We already highlighted the dueling potential that Kalista does have, and Holy Phoenix is pushing them into the turret, and it's working quite well in terms of CS. Yeah,
you can see they really wanted that early kill onto Touch or Holy Phoenix, where they got Touch very, very low. And then Crazy Caps was forced back to base, and it's been a little rough for him, but Touch still taking quite a bit of damage. Rengar is now level 6 in a few seconds. I thought he would have been already clearing the camps on top side, but he's just shy of it, and he can really facilitate some really strong ganks towards that bottom side with that engage out of Kalista.
Yeah, it should and could get messy in that bot lane. Holy Phoenix is taking a bit of damage, a bit of abuse in the meantime in that mid lane. It's going pretty smoothly for Castin. Obviously, he's not going to have the easiest time getting CS when you've got an auto-attack based. Basically, he's laning against an AD carry, and that is no easy feat for Castin. It's not ideal for him. So Naru manages to stay within about 20 CS. It's pretty expected. Still 75 to 54 is a huge discrepancy. Just got a catalyst to his name. Going to be going that Rod of Ages route. In the meantime, on that top lane, level as anything, 58-59. Just a kill changing between the two. Of course, with that nice gank early from the level 3 Rengar. Something some people say, criticisms people have about Rengar is his early game presence can be kind of pretty small without his ultimate, but Takei's shown us how it's done. It's all about that double snare.
It was really well timed too, because the thing he did was he slowed him first with the use of it, his bullet strike, and then he had his passive use of it up as well. Exactly. To get that 5-stack ferocity. So it's really well timed, really well done. I thought Senkux almost stole away that red buff right there because he ulted across it, I believe. Unfortunately, wasn't able to. But still, it's really tied up. It's 9.5 minutes in. The goal difference isn't that extreme. 400 here, even about 300. And it's going to come down to where Taiki goes. You can see not going for the Stalker Blade this time. And Elwin top lane getting very low here.
Yeah, he's going to have to try and do something. Beansy obviously having his passive does get procced, and perhaps he's going to be diving in. Don't think he's got the health to really head towards that turret, but still, that's an exchange actually favorable for Elwin if he does TP back up to that top lane, because he has the momentum now, and he also knows that that passive is down. No more resurrecting Aatrox. Perhaps that opens up potential for a gank as well. We haven't seen too much from Crystal in these lanes, as he's got a pretty mediocre buy. He's got a double longsword already and his movement speed boots, so he's doing well in comparison to the Moby boots and Ranger's Trailblazer of Taiki.
Yeah, so Taiki going for something a little bit different this time. Senkux having a little bit of a tougher time here against Naru, who's starting to catch up finally a little bit here in terms of CS.
Touch dropping his box there. Maybe just a defensive maneuver in the meantime. You can see Crystal going low, going so low he goes down, and now looks like action's happening all over the Rift, forced to flash away in that top lane. Senkux went low in the mid lane as well. At the same time was an Ignite used from Naru. And here is Rengar. Kitty wants to be fed, and he's looking very... Oh, he does quite connect the slow. He's pursuing onto Elwin. You're in the bushes. This is his territory. He's got the Counter-Strike used, and that's just going to open up the Death's Door, or not quite, as he gets the flash into Leap to escape from that one. And that felt like it should have been a sure thing, but Elwin showing us how it's done.
Yeah, I want to say most of the time he should have been able to escape that. Just the fact that he had flash up, he had his Leap Strike, he had his Counter Strike as well. Taiki, I guess if he had full stacks Ferocity and land the snare, that would have been a kill. But unfortunately for him, he only had one when he went for that fight previously against Crystal, where they're able to pick up that kill. But nonetheless, they still pick up a advantage, 2-1. See bot lane having an easier time here. You see Crazy Caps getting touch, and Holy Phoenix are very low. But here comes the teleport.
This is gonna be bad. Crazy Caps could get caught out here, but nice ultimate from Janna stops the Counter-Strike range. But here comes the Cataclysm. Oh, and of course, Kalista just dives and ducks out of that one, looking to put some damage on the way back out. And that is a beautiful disengage. 4 members from Dark Passage making their way down bot lane, and they have nothing to show for it.
That's a great read by Zaitan, too. I mean, yeah, the Howling Gale missed, but it was to catch Jax if he leaped in with a counter-strike.
It worked. It pushed him out of range. It was beautiful.
No, the Howling Gale hurt Q.
Oh, okay, sorry.
It was to come across and stop Jax from getting the leap through with the counter-strike. The Monsoon Shoes in the beginning was fantastic because it forced him away, so he couldn't get the jump in for counter-strike. So really well done. Really, Zaitan showing his mastery of that champion of Janna right now. And with Dragon potentially being started up here, Taiki hand down towards the bomb side. He has ultimate not up just yet here, but he does have flash. And look at this, Crystal overextending.
That's the power of Thresh. Oh, it does connect onto Crystal. He's been hit by the bowler, but he's going to be backing away quite safely. Crazy Cap's throwing in one of his ghostly spears to ward off the enemies. And that's potentially a Dragon as they're forcing that bot lane to go back. Touch so very low. No mana as well. Can't contribute anything to this team fight if it does occur, as they're making a move straight up for that Dragon. And I can only assume that Senkux is just going to hang out, try and keep Naru busy in that mid lane. Yeah,
he tried to show the lane as quick as possible with that ultimate. Just stop Cassidy from roaming around from Naru, getting towards this Dragon. And we'll secure themselves the first one here of the game. 2-1, about 13 minutes in. And that goal difference is starting to grow ever so slightly here. As looks like Crazy Cap's feeling a little bit more comfortable here on this bottom lane now.
Seems that way. He seems to be catching up in CS as well. Still slight gap, almost 90 to 116. So Holy Phoenix keeping tabs on that CS quite nicely in that bot lane. But he feels more confident. I think he feels a little bit safer now, especially knowing that there is going to be a stealthy Rengar with that ultimate off cooldown.
I want to see him use it.
We haven't seen too much from the ultimate.
Crystal, you're killing me, man.
You just panic every single time.
Every time I hear a pink, I just go to him now because he's just constantly getting solo in the jungle. Like, just think, if Ezreal tried to steal that blue, he would have killed him. Like, on accident. But luckily for Crystal, that did not happen. Nonetheless, Beansu does have his passive back up here. And Senkux might get ganked here middle. Oh, look at this. Looks like for the Flay will come in. The hook not even going to be used. The heal comes out and the shield. And Senkux will survive. He'll be able to back away. He'll be okay here as he's only forced to use that flash and heal better than dying. And that did cost Touch a lot of time here rotating towards the top side.
You want to see the ultimate? There it is. We see the ultimate from Rengar. Gets the binding to finish it all off. Beansu gets the kill as well. Nearly called it a frag there, as he's going to pick that one up. Turret has already fallen as well, and that extends it to 3-1. And that gold lead's starting to get a bit larger now. 2,000 gold in favor of SK Prime, looking to wrap it up in 2.
No Touch. He's actually going to pay for this one here. He's actually able to get away from that for the help of Monsoon, but Beansu teleporting from behind. Now Graves diving and trying to do something here, and he almost dodges away from the cloud of damage, but he just has a little bit too much health, and that would be a double now for Beansu. 5-1, 14.5 minutes in, and this is a big lead now growing.
SK Prime starting to really dictate the plays in this game. And that's a very strong TP from Beansu. Just a presence all around the map. And that's what TP really does enable you to do. In the meantime, of course, that mid turret is going to be falling. Taiki and Senkux, the slaughterers of that one. That's going to be the second turret now already. 14 minutes in. Beansu's looking to add a third to that roster as he's going to be joined by Zaitan. So as all of this is said and done,
2 kills, 2 turrets.
It's pretty big.
Yeah, it is. That's a lot of gold, a lot of momentum for your team, not to mention stealing away a couple of camps.
God, they are really rubbing salt into the wound. And Dark Passage looking to make a move here onto Taiki.
Trying to get aggressive here. Senkux going to dodge away from the hook. And he should be able to back away from this one. Does get ignited up. He gets flayed back in as well. But now here comes Crystal, and he will fall off this one. Taiki might drop on top of this. He gets smited in. He realizes he's going to be dying, trying to stay healed up. So they will give away 2 kills just after they picked up 2 kills and 2 turrets. And we were, praising them for that.
They got caught out. It up. And that's the power of Kassadin. You just don't expect these sudden pursuing assaults that you just can't get away with. I mean, consider Ezreal. He's got his flash, he's got his E, and I feel like even then he just had a sticky Naru on his face, and he couldn't get rid of him. And that's the Rift Walk potential. As this one falls, that's going to be the first turret on the board now for DP. Beansu doing his best to kind of fend off Holy Phoenix on this turret, but that's surely going to be falling now, and that's going to add a second turret. And suddenly they're trying to level out the gold. He's in trouble as well. Flash is forced. There's a touch there as well. Beansu is a touch in trouble as he does go down. Surely, as he comes back up from this, he's going to be eliminated a second time. He's going low, but not low enough. Finally picked up this time by Thresh. That's a lot of shutdown gold for the support. And here comes the support for SK, picking up 1, looking for a second as well as Naru backing away with that Rift Walk. He's not interested in this fight. As Crazy Caps just keeping his presence known. Taiki on the prowl. He's used his ultimate, and there's a Rengar hungry for blood.
You might be spotted out here. In the meantime, they actually just give up on it here. And just like you mentioned, Taiki popping his ultimate. Not going to be able to get the stealth in, but gets a clean kill on the Crystal. And now Holy Phoenix, he should fall for this one. No, the flash over the wall does give him the distance he needs to escape. Meantime, Jack shoving top lane will pick up a turret. So trying to punish them here on all fronts.
And they're doing just that. What a fantastic three or so minutes from Dark Passage. They were looking pretty wounded and weak, and they've just brought it all the way back. Just 1,000 or 1,500 gold standing between these two teams. They've managed to get 3 turrets in about 3 minutes, and they're leveling this one out quite nicely. Dragon going to be up in about 1 minute and 45 seconds, and that's going to be the next real test for these teams.
Yeah, definitely. 100% here. And you can see Beansu now. We got to talk about items quickly before we get into this. He has the Blade of the Rune King done. He's getting towards his Randuins. On the opposite side, though, Elwin, he's down about, let's just say, 20 CS. He only has 2/3 of his Trinity Force. And he doesn't have that power spike that he's going to need here. That Blade of the Rune King really gives Beansu a huge spike of damage and survivability in these fights. And you pair that along with the almost completed Randuin's Omen, and it's going to be very difficult to take down. You're looking now at Senkux, who has his Trinity Force done. He has a lot of damage. Actually not going the full blue build that that we typically see out of a tier Ezreal, so he's just kind of using the tier to survive, laying a little bit more in to poke down cast him. But when we get into this fight here at Dragon, I think the big things are to come into the AD carries, where Holy Phoenix has Infinity Edge done compared to an opponent who doesn't.
It's going to be really tough for them. I mean, you have an Infinity Edge. It's a scary, scary premise. That's a scary AD carry. Holy Phoenix, 160 CS to just 120 or so of crazy caps. And that's just the Graves AoE farm, and he's got his damage down as well. Crazy caps still darting around. It's so much fun to watch. I remember we were watching Pudden doing Dragon. In the meantime, actually, we should talk about Takey, who could potentially be in trouble. The Cataclysm comes in. They really want to take Takey down and out of this fight, and they're going to do just that. Naru picks up that kill, but what has it cost them? Crystal goes down. Naru's in trouble as well now. Senkux on the pursuit. You can't run away from an Ezreal, and it doesn't look like they're going to do so. Elwind is here to back him up, but he does finally fall, and now it is a 2v1. Elwind favorable in health, but for how long? Summoner Hill is used. The second kill comes in for Senkux, and he adds 2 to his kill death ratio. 2 for 1 now.
Remember I said Blade of the Rune King gives Aatrox a lot of damage, survivability? Well, you just saw it right there. I mean, the use of it, not to mention the healing, you saw him just stutter stepping, I guess you call it orb walking. I don't know if that really works with AD or with bruisers, but he got the healing from that, got the healing from his W, and it helped him stay alive long enough to pick up 3 kills for his team. Really well done. And now his Randuin's Omen's done. And this is right before Dragon too, so a lot of big ultimates being used there. The Cataclysm is now gone here. On the other side, you have Beansu with his ultimate almost off a cooldown, and Senkux has it still up.
I feel like that was part of the reason why they went so hard and so deep onto Takey, because they wanted to get the jungler down and out before Dragon, but it cost them so much that they couldn't quite go straight to Drake. And look how fast it's falling. Oh, I don't quite believe it. I don't think DP do either, as already the second Dragon has been picked up for SK, and they're perhaps looking to make a smooth down this mid lane now as they have the advantage. This could potentially spell trouble for DP.
Right now, you got to give credit to SKP for being ahead. If they were behind at this point, they would get into this really bad rut. So, the downside of having 2 AD carries of your team is the fact that you have to feed farm to 1. Like typically, when you see, a game with a standard setup, you have the mid lane getting really fed in terms of CS, like feeding over to them, and the AD carry. But when you have 2 AD carries, you kind of, in the later stages of the game, need one to take over in a normal setup. When you only have one of them. He takes over farm from mid lane, and you can't really have the opportunity. So, the limited amount of gold that's on the map at any given time, there's only so much that each AD carry can soak up, and that's going to delay a lot of items here. Oh, look at this. They might be going for an engage. They might be looking for Taiki to make something happen.
They're thinking about it. Khazadin says no, though. The leap is forced straight onto the wave just to close the gap and try and connect. The Bowler Strike doesn't quite manage it, but they are commencing this mid push, and looks like Beansu's going into damage control mode in that top lane, trying to deal with Elwind, as it's going to be a 4v4 here in that mid lane.
I want to see if he can actually take Jax on 1v1. Because
looking at the buy, he should. He's got a Blade and a Randuin's to just a Sheen Phage of Elwind, and that to me spells pretty much a dead Jax.
I want to hope so, because they need an answer for him. Like Elwind, that's the upside of Jax. There's not very many champions that can 1v1 him once he gets that Trinity Force, and maybe Randuin's done if he goes for that kind of route, or even a Blade if he wants to go for that route. If they can't 1v1 him with Beansu, then he's going to be a huge split push threat, which can get DP back in the game.
It's true. And I mean, if the problem with the split push is who's going to deal with it. We already highlighted that you don't can 1v1 him, but then who do you send? Takey and Senkux? That's like the backbone of anything that SK want to put together, is this very well kind of nourished Ezreal with his Triforce and Manamu. Actually picking up the cooldown boots as well, so he's going to be looking to be even more of a pokey threat than he already is.
Yeah, he's gonna hurt quite a bit. He's already at that point where You know, a couple of Qs, laying onto the right target, is going to force them back, especially Naru, who hasn't been able to build up too much armor just yet here.
I love how I was looking for a Poke Champion at the start list. And I was like, oh, Jace, that's pretty much all they've got. They're going for something. Zaitan gets hooked up after being thrown in by his teammate. Ultimate is forced. Holy Phoenix going low, but not low enough. Flashing away from Beansy's charge. The Cataclysm comes in, trying to do something to slow down this onslaught of Aatrox and Ezreal. In the meantime, Elwin's caught off with 3. Takey's doing a whole lot of damage to him. Beansy's going to be there to back him up. And that should be one dead. Jax Elwin leaping away onto Naru's face, forcing the flash away as Takey picks up another. And 2 down, looking for a third as well.
You went too
Senka's
deep,
taking
son.
a risk, and he's forced to back away. And it's all said and done. A couple of low flashing health bars for SK, but 2 dead and buried for DP.
And now SK, they're going to try to push in onto this middle turret, it seems. But then again, you have to be careful of Kasa and Naru, who really didn't take that much damage in that fight. Wasn't really able to get in, do too much. Oh, Senkox, you better be careful. Oh, he's going to get pushed on here. Summoner Hill's being used. They're trying to bait him in, and he's actually going to get turned on here. Senko's going to go down here from Jarvan. And now, Crazy Caps has to be careful.
He has to be very careful. Naru is up, but yes, he has low health, but you can't run away from a Castin. He's starting to build up towards that Zhonya's, and when he has got that, he can take even more risks. Feels like he's playing pretty risky at the moment, but once that Zhonya's is complete, he's going to have a little bit of an innate tankiness with that armor, but also he's going to be able to take even more risks going in towards these kind of picky team fights.
And Crazy Caps, he's fallen. We haven't even touched on this yet. About 60 CS behind.
It's pretty bad.
That's very bad. I mean, you just look at items. Like, an overall gold, he's not that far behind, fun enough, because he has that kill and those 4 assists. But he's behind, you know, that Zeal. He's behind, well, I guess you can say almost a static shiv compared to Holy Phoenix. But look at this gank coming bottom. Taiki looking for the engage here. And Holy Phoenix, oh, there was a person there before.
That's the power of Rengar. You saw the Yamu's just for that extra bit of movement speed and attack speed. And the damage is so strong. And only just the Yamu's and Ranger's Trailblazer with that Warrior enchant. That's all it needs. It's all it takes to eliminate the AD carry from the map, force another death onto him. And I mean, Holy Phoenix is sat on a measly 0-3-1. That's not too much of an influx of gold. You already highlighted that, yes, he's got a 40 CS advantage over Crazy Caps, but 1 kill, 4 assists, and that gold's pretty level.
The thing is, he played for Aces High at the Intel Extreme Masters Cologne just a month ago. And yet, you know, he's had that time to, you know, get the exposure, get the practice against Dignitas. And yet, he's just really struggling here in this game so far. And right now, looks like SKP will pick up another middle turret. They will back away. And now they're currently 4-3. So they have the turret lead yet again. They're forcing Jax to kind of join the team, not allowing him to split push as much. For the gold lead, it's, you know, 4.5 thousand. It's just continually building up more and more and more. And with this dragon coming up, I feel like that's going to be like the factor. It's going to give them, what, their 3rd stack. It's going to give them that extra movement speed to run away from Castellan if they can try, or maybe go for these hard engages. Yeah,
I think a hard engage is probably the way they're going to take this. Beansu's starting to get pretty tanky. He's picked up a Cal now. He's got his Randuins and Tabby for armor, and his Blade, of course, as well for a bit of extra life steal, or health steal, I should say. And, I mean, that's a pretty scary Aatrox. 5 for 1, 5 assists as well on top of that. And I feel like he's going to be pretty instrumental in these hard engage scenarios. You've got Takey leaping in as well. He's not particularly tanky, but he's going to be able to, I mean, you've seen already the power he has, the power he possesses when it comes to destroying the AD carry at that backline. And I mean, there's nothing to really stop him getting to that backline now, as he may be giving us a prime example of that right now. Dragon Spawn, DP going to kind of set their sights on that one as Takey does try and make a move onto Crystal. Nothing to show for it, though. Has that 5-step Ferocity, and even just a Ferocity Bowler could be enough to start something.
Yeah, I was actually wondering why he did ult there, and it seemed just because they had no real vision around the map, and they wanted to make sure that they can have an easy dragon. So they're going to clear out the wards, so they're going to get some vision of their own down. Yeah, without Taki's ultimate, you know, to stealth in, they can't really go for an easy engage. But like you said before, he has his 5-stacks Ferocity. Once he lands 1 Bullet Strike, it will be enough here, and Dragon's going to get bursted down so quickly here.
They tried, quite beautifully actually executed by a DP. Crystal flag and dragon in, trying to get the smite steal, but Takey said no, and he got lanterned out of there swiftly by touch. And I mean, it was a nice attempt, but no cigar. 13-6 now, as this one reaches the 26-minute mark. 4-3 in turrets. Gold lead still firmly in the hands of SKP. And it feels like the lead in the game, they're pretty much dictating everything, forcing DP to go in these kind of tight-knit groups around the jungle. Vision control, something that DP are trying to hold on to with these kind of pretty passive and defensive pink wards they've got in their own jungle, but nothing to be seen in the enemy jungle.
The thing is, you see Elwin, he's trying to dance along that line of, can I continue to push or do I need to back away? And he'll take the safe route this time just to escape, just to make sure to join his team. He's 0-4 right now, which is unfortunately like a really kind of bad scoreline for him, but he will continue to get exponentially stronger as this game goes on. When he finishes that random Omen, if he goes for a blade of the rink, if he wants to go for another damage item, he will be really hard to deal with here. Now Naru getting a little bit aggressive here, looking for Beansu.
This is what we're talking about. He's got his Zhonya's. He feels a little bit more confident to go for this kind of thing. Ignite onto Beansu is just going to be a little tickle for that Aatrox as the Giant Shield is there to absorb something. Now, the Vision battle continues once more. Naru, 4 for 1. He's got his Rod of Ages and his Zhonya's. He's got that nice bit of health alongside the armor. Still doesn't feel like enough, though. I feel like he's going to be taking a lot of risks, and there's a lot of potential punishment on the SK Prime side of things.
Well, the thing is, like, we haven't had really any strong 5-on-5 fights yet. They've been like little skirmishes around the map, little picks here or there. So both teams just playing really passive. You know, DP playing extra passive, realizing they're already down one map. And look at this, Taiki going for a gank here, bottom side. And this is going to be a lot of damage on a Holy Phoenix.
Not enough, though. Look at this survivability. Holy Phoenix dashing away courtesy of that Lantern. TP's coming in, though. They want Rengar's blood. Elwind is backed up by Sencrux, though, as Beansu is here to support. Elwind, what is your plan of action here? He's taking risks, and Beansu's doing the same. Here comes Castin, though, hungry for Taiki. Takes him, and what else can they pick up from this one? Beansu going low, but not low enough. Potentially going to be doing some damage to Naru as he does get hooked in. Beansu taking such a beating. Zaitan there to back him all up. And this is now a 5 versus what feels like 3. As Naru forced to use his Zhonya's. Sencrux doing damage to Crystal. Crystal's contributing so little. He's used his Cataclysm. There's no way out for that one, and that's going to be a beautiful disengage from Jarvan. But look at this movement speed. They've got Janna. They've got 3 stacks of Dragon. They've got the extra movement speed they need to close that gap. Forces Touch to use the Lantern to back it all up. And look at those low health bars from DP. That was a test, and they failed.
Like for them, they got 1 kill, but it's just not enough here. It's not exactly what they needed. Now they're going to be losing a turret, so they'll trade 1 kill for 1 turret. Not the best of trades here, and that ultimately going to come across. Isn't going to connect with anyone. It looks like it will just miss Crystal, hugging off to that bomb side. But look at this mill inhibitor turret. We had Crazy Caps pushing the entire time while that fight was breaking down bottom, and he was able to almost get that down.
Yeah, almost so very close, and it's a bit of a statement, really. Sencrux is being engaged on by Crystal. They really wanted to get this Ezreal down and out.
Oh my god.
Such a threat at the moment. Really off the meta pick, I think it's safe to say, but Sencrux is showing us there is potential in the AD Ezreal mid. Got his Muramana now, it's been upgraded. There's alongside that Trinity Force, and that seems to be all it needs, the recipe for destruction with Ezreal mid.
Taiki's back here to join the party. If they could catch someone out in the jungle, but you can see now DP again for 2 games straight, forced to play super defensively. And from that, SKP are just getting more and more confident as you saw that fight. It was like, what, 5-on-4, and yet they still went for the re-engage and almost picked up 3 kills off the back without losing a person. DP need to come up with something soon, and it all starts with that vision control of their own jungle.
It all does indeed. Naru is just testing the waters with Crazy Caps, trying to see how much damage he can do. And it looks like he fancies his chances, forces the flash of the AD carry. It's a 5-minute cooldown that they really wanted to get rid of before any sort of team fight does occur. It does open the doors to that assassination potential of the AD carry. And
look at this.
DP are making a move into the enemy jungle. This is a move we haven't seen in forever. Looks like Dark Passage are trying to make something happen.
We have 3 pink wards towards Dragon. That shows how much they really wanted that Dragon in that buff. And right now, I mean, they need to get a couple of wards in their own jungle because, as you mentioned, moving in from DP, they're not really covering any of this. Like, the only ward they have on this top side is this one. And they can't really see as much as they need to. And look at that. Taiki getting caught out.
This is bad. He's fallen as fast as he lived. Goes down to Crystal picking up that one. That's going to be his 2nd kill of the game. And they're not looking for any more. They don't want to force any sort of fight out of this one, but they're happy to take the pick, take the gold, and head on back home.
Oh, nice. Ezreal actually spots them out if they're going for Baron here. And this is going to allow a free inhibitor. Like, there's nothing they can do. At least a turret down alone because they're forced to just back away from that push.
They're forced to back away. Baron just staring at them like, yes, you could do me, but how would your base fare? As SK not taking any risks. They know that the recalls have gone down thanks to that Ezreal ult from Sencrux, and Naru has been caught out here.
Yeah, there's a nice spread, and that Zhonya's going to be coming in. Now Crystal getting pretty much locked down here towards the backside. Beansu taking a lot of damage, but he goes in even deeper. Look for Holy Phoenix. He picks up the kill, looking for Naru. He will get the flash away, and it looks like he will escape this one. But now Elwin, I'm not sure he's so lucky on that Jax. He's going to get one more attack, and that's going to be a double now. Crazy looking for the triple. He's going to chase down Touch, gets it. And that is going to be 4 kills for 0 deaths here on the side of SK. And now they could potentially push for the win.
They have the potential. They've got 280 carries. Don't forget that. They're going to be killing these turrets faster than anything you've seen before. 30 minutes on that clock. They're on the Nexus turrets, and only Naru has anything. He is the only one that has really anything to say about it, and he's got little to say. Crazy Cap's doing his very best just to push him away from the Nexus. The Nexus is most definitely going to fall as Naru does just that. As this is going to be a beautiful 2-0. Such swift execution as actually the surrender came in. And 18-8 is your final scoreline as SK Prime wrap it up in 2.
They do, and I mean, that was